Hi guys, I've got another page in my Traveler's Notebook for you today, and I'm going to use this selfie that I've got here, which is perfect for the brand new Traveler's Notebook stamp set from Citrus Twist, which is what I'm going to use today. I'm going to start by just stamping one stamp onto my photo. It was really perfect for the photo and I didn't want to forget to do it, so that's why I've done it first. And then I'm using the Pocket Life kit to pick out a paper, and I had seen this red and pink pattern in there and I really loved it. So I decided to use that one since the photo's black and white. Now, don't do what I'm doing. I want to make a diagonal of the paper, and so I had flipped it over so I could add some little pencil marks so I could trim it out and then it would be perfect, except it's not perfect, it's backwards. So if you do what I do, make the pencil marks on the front and then erase them later. I'm just eyeballing it now since obviously trying to be accurate isn't going to work for me. So I've done one for the top left, and I'm going to create another sort of diagonal piece for the bottom right corner. That time just eyeballing it, like I said. It's what happens, I guess, when you're trying to be too perfect. And then I just added a little bit of texture to that and just ran the edges through my sewing machine. So now I'm a bit stuck as to what I'm going to do. I want to add some more stamps. And so I thought I might do the same technique I've done before, which is to create a sort of random stamp looking pattern. And this one didn't work very well, so it is very random looking. I just traced out my block onto a piece of paper, and then I'm trying to place the stamps onto it, but I was having horrific trouble with the stamps not staying in place. They kept sticking to my nails and not in where I needed them to be. So instead I skipped all of that and just stuck them straight to my block, which is probably where I made the mistake, because it just doesn't make a particularly good pattern the way that I've stuck them onto the block. But you'll see how I get around that in the end. Although when I'm stamping it here on my sort of test stamp, it works fine. Just once I get into the notebook, not so much. So I had picked out a pink ink. This is a Colour Theory ink. I think it's called Pink Lemonade, to just match the paper. I didn't want it to compete too much with the pattern of the paper, just to go nicely with it. So that's why I've picked that one. And here's where the trouble starts. My suggestion would probably be not to stamp straight into your notebook. Maybe stamp on some other paper and stick the stamp piece in like I normally do in my pocket page notebooks. This one is just a Traveler's Notebook page. So I was trying to stamp over the middle of the book there, and it just did not work very well. One side of the notebook is really quite fat and the other isn't, so I didn't have a really flat surface to stamp on, and so all of those ones over the middle there just look really bad. So I wasn't going to start again, I wasn't going to re-stamp it, so I decided to just place my pieces of paper and photo where I think they might go and just try and fill any holes first with all of these stamps on the block. And then I pulled all the little stamps off, and I'm just going to stamp them individually to fill up any holes. Luckily the ink is quite light, so you can't really see the actual stamping errors too badly. I'm going to go with, gives it a vintage look. Really it just looks a bit messy, but because it's sort of a background thing rather than the main focus of the page, I'm kind of not going to worry about it. So that's enough with the stamping. It's a shame because the stamps are really cute and they go really nice with sort of selfie photos like that. Actually with any photos really, it is a really photo taking themed stamp set, which I really love. So I'm just sticking these diagonal pieces of paper down, and then I'm roughing up the edge, the sewn edge, just with my fingernails, just to give it a tiny bit of texture. Otherwise it is going to be like quite a flat page. And then I can go ahead and stick my photo down on top. So of course where I've roughed up the paper, it does make it a little bit bulky under the photo. So as I'm sticking the photo down, I'm just kind of pushing that flat again. Now I think my one little stamp on my photo, although I loved the stamp, it looks a little bit lonely sitting there on its own, so I'm going to add a title with these black puffy stickers that are in the Pocket Life kit, and I'm just spelling out click. I thought I would do it on the edge like I normally do to try and get the spacing right. And it didn't look too bad on the edge of the packet, but when I stick it down, I'm really unhappy with the sort of spacing of the C's. So I do try and peel them up, and luckily they come up not too badly, and I can just space them out a little bit better. And then, you know, I'm one for threes, so I decided to add a third element here and just stamp one more stamp on top of the puffy stickers. And I really like that wee cluster it makes. So down on the bottom right is where I'm going to add my journaling, and because it's quite a busy pattern, I'm not going to be able to write over top of it, so I have typed that out on a little bit of scrap paper, and I'm just going to trim that out, and then just my usual, stick that down with my Martha Stewart glue pen. Now again, the same as with the photo, when I'm sticking these little strips down over the edge of the paper that I've roughed up, it doesn't stick it down, or I've tried to press it down, it kind of like bows over top of that, but because it's stuck on either side, it's not going anywhere, it is stuck down quite nicely. Now I loved these Pink Fresh puffy stickers from the embellishment kit, so I'm going to add 3 of these stars. Technically, I think they're navy blue. They are very dark, so I didn't worry about the difference between the black and the navy blue. I think they go quite nicely there. And then to really emphasize the fact that I've got 2 different diagonals going on, I've got the bottom left to top right diagonal of the white going through the middle, but I've also got top left to bottom right with my photo and journaling. So I'm going to emphasize that with a little bit of splatter. I am getting a bit better, but still I just need more practice, I guess. And that is my page all done. All the kits from Citrus Twist this month are really great, so if you haven't already, I highly suggest heading on over and picking yourself up something. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!